100 subs. I am blown away by the continual love you guys show my channel. So whether you just watch, have subbed, dropped a like, left a comment, or shown support in any of 1,000 other ways, I thank you so much. This channel rocks because of you. So, full disclosure, I had planned on doing a superhero companion piece to Supersonic Man, but after watching my selected movie twice, there was something just a little bit off about the flavor. I'll probably revisit it at a later point, but in the meantime, I've got a real palate cleanser of a movie. A unique sorbet, if you will. This is 1987's Bad Taste. See what I did there? We start with a shadowy ministry type guy who has a special button pressing finger and a speed dial for the queen, his mum, and the boys. Elsewhere, a not so shadowy guy named Barry has a leisurely chase with a pair of white-haired guys in blue shirts. He gets splattered.
You got red on you.
And there go his best pants. Turns out he and his team, called the Boys, are chasing extraterrestrials.
Why can't aliens be friendly?
There's no glowing fingers on these bastards. We've got a bunch of extraterrestrial psychopaths on our hands.
His partner Derek questions one he caught.
Now, what are you dirty whoas doing on my planet?
But the trapped alien isn't impressed and calls for reinforcements, who converge on Derek's location. It's here we learn an important fact about Derek's.
I'm a Derek. Derek's don't run.
We also learn sound effects are as effective as bullets. And the two together are even better. Everything goes well until he fights with an alien named Robert and ends up falling off a cliff. An aid worker runs across Robert enjoying an afternoon snack. A chase begins and he does the logical thing by flipping him off, leading to a reminder about the importance of window maintenance when you've got a raging psycho on your tail. He's caught and thrown into a 50-gallon drum, along with an apple gag that's freshly polished. Despite all this, the head alien, Lord Crumb, offers him a lovely compliment.
You're the exotic new taste sensation. Human flesh is it.
Derek technically isn't dead, but his brains do keep falling out of his head, so he picks up random brains wherever he can. He eventually finds his van, which happens to contain the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Beatles, and drives to find his team. Barry, along with fellow team members Frank and Ozzy, busts into the alien's well-appointed mansion to save the aid worker and kick some alien ass. They end up cleaning house because, blood is slippery and could cause a serious accident. One unfortunate alien stumbles upon them and ends up losing his head, which is promptly punted out a window. Lord Crumb goes on and on about how delicious humans are and how his fast food chain is gonna harvest all 4 billion of them. The boys decide it's time for all-out warfare on this particular fast food franchise. But before they do, Frank goes undercover to join the aliens in eating whatever the fuck this green shit is. As you'd expect, the aliens have stormtrooper level aim, but Frank on the other hand shows off his skills by shooting a bunch of them out of a tree. Derek continues to lose and gain brain pieces, so he resorts to a head build as both a necessity and a fashion choice. In a fit of rage, he drives down one alien and gets intestine stains all over his hood. Man, those are so tough to remove. He finishes the job with his weapon of choice, and possible love interest, a big red Lombard chainsaw. Lord Crumb must have had a really bad reaction to something, cause he starts to blow up, and then out of his mansuit. All his underlings follow this trend, and I gotta say, the collective decision for assless chaps was an interesting choice. The boys retreat with an unusual catchphrase,
Shut up, codpiece face.
and then Ozzy gets his baby loaded up and explodes the house in spectacular fashion. His laugh accurately reflects my feelings on this. And as a side note, you know it's a proper explosion when the toilet seat flies that far. Derek arrives, and while he could use a normal door, he decides he wants to make a rockstar entrance with a Derek-sized hole. He follows that up with a lesson on the proper way to fillet an alien. Elsewhere, Ozzy beats off another one and kicks him in the space nuts before departing. A poorly aimed missile fired at the house misses its target by that much, and instead blows up a sheep in a weirdly satisfying explosion. Lord Crumb decides cheap meat isn't worth it and prepares the house to escape into orbit, which includes rolling up the landscape. The house takes off, but Derek is bound and determined to complete his mission, whether his brain is intact or not. He surprises Lord Crumb and goes straight through him like bad sushi. It's at this moment Derek starts a new career of killing aliens while wearing a Lord Crumb suit, his awesome chainsaw by his side. This does raise the question of how you navigate a 2-story historic homestead through space, but that's a question for another day. Back on Earth, the Beatles and the surviving members of the Boys drive off into the sunset, and we're left with an appropriate apology in the credits. Bad Taste is a 1987 New Zealand film, produced, directed, and co-written by Peter Jackson as his first feature film. It was shot on weekends over the course of 4 years, with Jackson's friends playing the lead roles. Its initial $25,000 budget was mostly financed by him, until the New Zealand Film Commission saw his work and gave him an extra $235,000 to finish the movie. Each scene was filmed from ideas Jackson came up with before the weekend's filming schedule. It started out as a 20-minute short called Roast of the Day, which started filming in 1981. When it came time to edit, Jackson found there were nearly 50 minutes of usable footage. Being inspired by Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead, Jackson continued shooting to make it feature length. He was massively influenced by special effects pioneer Tom Savini, and incorporated tons of absurdly gory special effects. His ingenuity is on full display here because it had to be. With the tight budget and the ambitious final project, he really had no choice. All of the alien masks were made in Jackson's mother's kitchen, with her oven being used to harden the latex. All of the firearms were non-functional replicas consisting of aluminum pipes, wood, and clay made by Jackson himself. The actors in turn shook the replica guns to simulate recoil, and the muzzle flashes were added in post. He even constructed his own Steadicam. Derek's big red chainsaw didn't work either. Any close-up shots employed a smaller working model. Maybe the most impressive thing, at least to my mind, is the opening shot where Jackson plays both Derek and Robert at what appears to be the same time. It took careful editing, working with shots filmed months apart for the characters to fight each other. Every time I watch this, I'm just blown away. It's not CGI or green screen, it's just clever editing and camera angles to pull off what you assume to be 2 actors fighting it out in a normal set of shots. The original VHS artwork has the alien flipping the bird, but US rental stores were provided with an extra finger that could be glued in place to make it look like it was giving a peace sign instead. The movie itself was banned in the Australian state of Queensland until the early 90s, and there was a heavily edited German version that cuts about 10 minutes from the movie. There are a wide variety of opinions on Bad Taste, and I can certainly see where they came from, but damn do I love this movie. I've seen it a couple of times, and every viewing I catch something that makes me laugh so hard. The combination of intelligently done practical effects and cheeky humor speaks to me on such a deep level. You see all the signs of the incredible filmmaker Jackson went on to be, and it's so cool to see his roots. The techniques and camera angles he uses don't feel like they belong in a typical low-budget movie. This isn't a standard medium wide shot kind of movie. All the stops were pulled out to get these incredible shots. From a story perspective, the basic premise isn't necessarily new. You can go back to the 60s Twilight Zone to get a similar plot. But to have the aliens from a fast food company coming to harvest humans for burgers is both perfectly suited to the era and funny as hell. Even Kaiharo, the town that's initially attacked, is a Maori word that can translate as either food town or fast food. There is a ton of fake blood and gore, but with an influence like Tom Savini, would you expect less? Peter Jackson's work is a buffet of awesome, and Bad Taste is a great amuse-bouche that will only leave you wanting more. Special thanks to Ray R Reviewing for suggesting this one. Make sure to show his channel some love. You'll find his links in the description. So what do you think? Suggestions for movies, trivial questions, comments, ratings, and a house-shaped spaceship would be appreciated. Thank you so very much for watching.